Hi, what kind of book do you want to write? Or what kind of book do you want to read? Well, if you're wanting to write or read a business book, that's what we're going to look at today. I'm at Barnes & Noble. We're going to look for business books by women. Now, I already looked online to see if they had these two books that I am interested in. One is called Winging It by Emma Isaacs, and the other is Susie Moore's Stop Checking Your Likes. Now, I don't know if Susie Moore's is business, but I know that Winging It is business, but they don't have either one of those books. So I will talk about why that is after we go inside. What I do believe they have, or who I think they have, is Ryan Holiday, who had a new book come out recently, and he was interviewed also on Don't Keep Your Day Job. And he's written a number of books, and so he's got a track record, and he is published by a big publisher, and so he's probably definitely here. They say he's here. One of his books is here. We'll see if it's in the business section. So let's go on inside and take a look and see what we can find. And as soon as I walk in, I already see Ryan Holiday's book, The Daily Stoic, right here. That's the one that's his most recent, I believe, from last year, a couple months ago. So we'll look at that in a minute. Another thing I noticed, if you just kind of pan out here, is how much red there is here in the business section. It's probably more so than other sections. There's a lot of bright colors. You can really see it if you pan over here. The newer books are the brighter ones, except for most of those are newer. Red's a big color. Drive is not new, I don't think. Like this year, Lean In is not new. The other one, Drive, is not new, but still, there's a lot of bright colors. John Maxwell's been around for a long time. All his books have been out for a while. So what I am looking for is some books by women. So here's Girl Boss, and another one that I noticed is Rachel Hollis's Barnes & Noble exclusive, which is interesting. I don't know if that means it's only at Barnes & Noble and not like at Amazon or other bookstores. So we'll take a look at these more closely. And then I also found this one, Women's Work. Again, I'm looking for books by women. And I will show this one because I know a lot of people that I've been talking to lately are talking about coffee table books and unique books with a lot of illustrations. So we'll look at that too. So we're going to start with Girl Stops Apologizing by Rachel Hollis. A shame-free plan for embracing and achieving your goals. This is a hardcover 6x9. It's by HarperCollins Leadership, which is an imprint of HarperCollins, as it says. It's $24.99. I'm guessing it's going to be in the 300-page range. I hate opening brand new books and bending the spine. Oh, 230. All right, so it just feels like a thick book. I don't know why. So what's interesting is to see on the inside the font choices and the layout. Business books are very competitive, and so there's a lot of design that goes into business books. You wouldn't think so, but there are. This one has little little illustrations every once in a while. So if you're trying to organize your business book, again, how many chapters are you gonna have? Let's see how many chapters are in this one. Okay, so this is interesting. It's not by chapter. She's got excuses, and then behaviors, and then skills. And they're going to make me do math in my head, which I'm not great at. So 9 and 7 is 16, and 6 is 23, 24 chapters. That's a lot of chapters. So, because she's got a bonus chapter and an intro. So very interesting, very bright, and she's on the cover. You see that a lot in business books where the author is on the cover. All right, here's the Daily Stoic. This one is definitely thicker. Ryan Holiday has been with the same publisher. I looked him up last night, which is Portfolio, for his career, his entire career. I thought he had self-published in the beginning because I heard him on some self-publishing podcasts, but he was on there because he was talking about marketing. So he is not self-published. So this is a book of meditations. He writes about Stoicism a lot. This is pretty. I like these end papers here that make it look like old. It goes with the theme. Looks like old pages or a journal. And again, you can see how very designed it is. Now, so a couple weeks ago we looked at devotionals, And this is laid out in much the same way as a devotional is. So every day there's a different meditation. So meditation books are in business and in self-help and in transformation. So this is, just a little light something to read. Now, if you are someone who has, I'm immediately seeing these could also be blog posts. These are very, very short. I don't know the word count, but I'm guessing these are 200, 300 words. Very interesting. A lot of them, one for every day. But what a great way to repurpose content if he has done that. Another thing that is interesting is to see the other books in the back by him. That's not super common by the top publishers. A lot of smaller presses do that. And what is our word count? 405, 406, 8 pages. So that's a very big word count. And let's see what the price is. $25. So that's a pretty good price. So if you're a Ryan Holiday fan, if you want to have a little 15 minutes of meditation each morning and about this topic, this is definitely the book for you. Very well done. This is a very picky little thing I noticed, but I'm going to point it out. So I was like, this doesn't look like a 6x9. And actually, if you look here, it's actually not a 6x9. So I got out my handy dandy tool, and it's actually 6 across, but it's 8.5 tall, which is interesting. That's only a ½ inch, but still, when you're looking at these shorter pages, right, shorter content, then it makes sense that they would have shorter pages, a slightly smaller page. It just feels more like a book. I also want to point out the trim, the margins here, compared to what we saw last week. These are nice roomy margins. They could even have a little bit, a 1/4 inch even thicker margin, because these are so short. Anyway, just thought that was interesting. Girl Boss by Sofia Omarosa. Omarosa. I have to admit, I don't know much about this. I vaguely have probably heard somebody talk about it. So I don't read book reviews and stuff. But this is a 5.5 by 8.5. It is a paperback, and it's sold in hardcover. So it says New York Times bestseller. It became a bestseller in hardcover. It's now in paperback with a new introduction. Generally, when books sell well in hardcover, they go to paperback, or they can, but that's kind of the way it's done. Portfolio, which is Ryan Holiday's publisher, actually. And this one is $16 in paperback, which is a really good price. And the music's getting louder. So this has a lot of design. You can immediately see based on the pages, there's a lot of color in here, or not color, but there's these black edges mean there's something in each section that colored. So let's see what they do at each chapter. Just a solid black. Okay, now I personally don't like that. I don't even know the purpose of that. But if she's all about creativity, I don't know. It must go with her message and the theme of her book. So she's obviously, there's a lot of photography in here. And again, if you know her work, then this may make more sense to you. I don't like these solid black breakups, but again, they must go with her design aesthetic or something. So this is her story, but also business guidance. And I don't know if I'd be interested in it or not. I'd probably want to look her up and see a little more about who she is. It's got some good, it's been out for a while, 2014, so it's not a new book. But again, I was looking for books by women in the business section, and there's not a lot, and I'll talk more about that at the end. So her chapter count, she's got 11 chapters, and good standard paper. It's just interesting to look at how it's designed. See, I don't like these either, but I know that's pretty common to do, and this one has been used, it's been here and thumbed through a lot, but it starts to bend the page. This is a fun book to have in the business section. Women's work stories from pioneering women shaping our workforce. This is what I would call a coffee table book. So it's probably I don't know, I'll look and see what copyright is, but it would be good to have this at Christmas time because some people are going to want this. What's interesting, I don't know if you can see it, but this piece here feels different. So this is gloss. This is almost a matte overlay, and you can feel the difference. So this is a case bound, and that would be a little difficult to do and somewhat expensive. So $35 is about standard. Now, one of the things that I know that a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to do a coffee table book. Coffee table books are expensive to produce and print. This is done by Simon & Schuster, and the economics and the business model behind coffee table books we won't go into right here, but they're not just thrown together. Okay, so let's just look at the design. Really cool with the pictures. That's what stood out to me. So wonderful photographs. I like how they put more about the women here in the back with their handles, and you can find out more about them. And basically different profiles. It looks a lot like a magazine layout, right? So each person is highlighted and talked about, and I don't know if these are all leaders or just it reminds me of Women with Cool Jobs and the work that she's doing on her podcast. Is this Women with Cool Jobs? It'd be interesting to kind of look in here and find out how did they pick the women that they picked. So yeah, this is a cool looking book, and would be very inspirational. A great book for a library, a great book for a school, theater director. Yeah, so anyway, this is just a fun book. But again, I meant to give you the page count. It is 246 pages, and I will point out the author is a man. Just interesting, but kudos to him. Yay for having any kind of book on this topic. Came out in March of 2020, or rather, he wrote the foreword or the introduction in March of 2020. We saw quite a few business books. I was looking for business books by women, and I found a few, but not the ones I was looking for. So we found Rachel Hollis, we found Girl Boss, we found that pretty coffee table book, Women's Work, and then we found Ryan Holiday's, which was the one I figured we would find. And that was interesting to see how much it looked like a devotional. And as I was thinking about it later, I thought they don't have to put one meditation a day, but some of them were longer and took a whole page, so I guess that's why they organized it in that way. When it comes to books by women in the business section, business is extremely competitive genre, and it's heavily by men, obviously, because men are in business and everybody thinks that business is a man's game or whatever. But there needs to be more books by women. Now, I did look up before I came in Susie Moore's book and Emma Isaac's book, Winging It. Susie Moore's is called Stop Checking Your Likes. They're available for order online. They're not stocked in the bookstore, which frustrates me. It's great, but it points a few things out. Bookstores are not the only place to buy books. So obviously I'm going here to be able to look at physical books and show you what they look like. We'll go to the library too. So that's not the only place to find books, but it would be nice if they were in the bookstore. What I did find interesting is that Susie Moore's book is Stop Checking Your Likes. I did find a book on the shelf called The Likeability Trap by Alicia Mendez. I thought, well, why would they have this one and not Susie Moore's? First of all, Likeability Trap is in hardcover, so that means it's been printed. It's got a bigger push behind it from the publisher, because hardcover costs more. Hardcover is easier to get book reviews in the media, in the traditional media, and so that's in hardcover. Susie Moore's book just came out, and it's in paperback, and so it's not as common for publications and review media to review a paperback book. So that's one thing that says, okay, there's not as much of a push behind Susie Moore's book. The other thing I found interesting is I know that Susie Moore, she's a coach. She's very active out, doing her work. And she's also very good at getting publicity. So she writes and gets a lot of publicity, and she has a course on how to get publicity writing for publications. However, the author of The Likeability Trap, Alicia Mendez, is an anchor with MSNBC. I believe it's MSNBC, but she's in traditional media. She has a arguably larger platform. So, you know, that's what kind of goes into what's being stocked in a bookstore. That doesn't mean that Alicia Mendez's book is going to sell more than Susie Moore's. It could. It just depends on all the other marketing that goes around it. And so marketing is a very, very hairy, difficult thing. There's a lot that goes into that. So it just shows how different it is for different books. So anyway, I would have liked to see more women's books, books by women in the business section, but we'll keep looking. There's some other books we can look for. If there's anything you like, if there's a specific business book you want to see, let me know, classic or new. Let me know. If there's an author you want to see or want to know where they're located, let me know, or what their books are like. If there's a certain topic you like. So just send me a DM, put it in the comments wherever you're watching this video, and I will come in and film it.